Hi there, it's Heather Home from Lightworker Psychic Readings and Energy Healing out of Peterborough, Ontario. And I'm sorry, it's been quite a long while since I have done a video for everyone. I've just kind of been getting behind a little bit, but to celebrate February, Valentine's month, I thought I would do a little video on love readings. And of course, love readings for anybody who does readings, you know, people ask for it all year round. So I actually had hoped to get this out earlier for Valentine's, but today's the last day of February. So I thought I'm doing it today. I'm getting it done today. So this video, as most of my videos are, intended for both clients who are doing a little research. They're trying to see what readers are out there, what is offered in terms of different types of services, different types of readings. And so this video should help give you a little bit of information about what I offer, but then again also what might be out there with other readers. And I do recommend you do your research because every reader is different. Even different types of readings can be done differently by different readers. And then also this video is for anybody who already does readings. Maybe you're just learning and just developing and you want some ideas on how to get started with love readings. Or if you've been doing readings for a long time and you're just having a search out there to see how do some of the other readers do their love readings. This can give you some ideas. Maybe you can take something from what I've offered and either do it the same way or take it and make it your own. Figure out how that will work for you. And I do always recommend that readers do it their own way. We are all unique beings and we need to read our own way. So I apologize, I'm going to be looking down quite a bit. I've got my handy dandy list of things to make sure that I get through. What do I want to start with? So there are two ways that I'm going to be talking about doing love readings today. One is through a workshop that I use to teach just about anybody how to do love readings, just using a regular deck of playing cards. You can still do it the same way by using tarot cards or oracle cards. But it's more simplistic. Not everybody wants to go out and buy a pack of tarot cards. Most people have a deck of regular playing cards at home, and you can do love readings just using that. And then also, if you did want to, you could always expand on it, as I said, through using tarot cards or oracle cards. The other way is what I usually do when I'm reading for clients. I do what I call a chakra spread, which I do normally just for a single individual, where because I'm also an energy reader and a Reiki practitioner. So I combine all of my abilities together, the tarot, the Reiki, the energy reading, I combine them all together into one. And I always start with oracle cards, which, oh shoot, I forgot to get that deck out. But anyways, and then if you're doing a relationship spread, which you can do, love readings don't have to just be about romance. They can also be relationships between you and anybody else in your life. So you and your mom or you and your bestie. I have had people come in who worked together and they were trying to figure out what to do in the workplace. So that can work for that as well. So I'll explain how I do both types, what I teach in the workshop and then also what I do myself professionally. So first of all, I'm going to start off with the workshop on love reading. So this is the one where you can use just a regular deck of playing cards, just regular old deck, regular playing cards. This one was a very nice gift from my cousin. I actually haven't used it very much and they're slip sliding all over the place here on this on the couch next to me, so I'm gonna have to try to be careful. It was a very nice lovely deck gifted to me by my cousin who had traveled to Japan. So this is from Tokyo Balcony, which I believe is supposed to be a hotel maybe. So we'll start with that, and I'm just going to give you the basics. Of course, I'm not going to teach the whole workshop. These are just to give you ideas of how to get started. So basically, you're taking your deck of cards and then you're laying them down in what we call a spread. For those of you who have not ever done readings before and you just want to give something a try. You can Google, I recommend maybe using the phrase tarot card spreads, and then you can always attach another word to get a specific type of spread. So tarot card love reading spreads, or tarot card chakra reading spreads, tarot card astrology spreads. You don't have to attach that other word if you don't want to. That's just if you're looking for something specific. But there are countless people who have very kindly shared different spreads online. For the one that you're doing with just a regular deck of playing cards, I recommend looking up a heart spread. And there are many different types. Find the ones that work for you and try them out and see how that goes. You can do it with tarot cards, as I said. Any of these are interchangeable. You can use them with regular deck of cards, tarot deck, oracle cards. The oracle cards, you kind of have to know a little bit about the deck itself, because of course every deck of oracle cards is created individually by the author or creator. So you'll have to know a little bit about that deck itself, and maybe it lends itself to these types of readings, maybe not, but for sure the tarot and the regular deck of cards do. So if you're just doing this yourself, I recommend searching a heart spread. And basically what you're going to do is think about the relationship, shuffle, 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 cut the deck, and then lay down the cards as indicated in the diagram. And usually the diagrams are labeled, and then each of the positions will have a meaning. So say, for example, and then if you're laying them out in a heart shape, you're going to lay the cards out in a heart shape like that. And then you might start maybe down at the bottom or maybe up at the top, and then each position will mean something. So maybe it will be, where you're both coming from. And then another one, challenges in the relationship. And then another one, what you both share together. Every spread will have different labels. So have some fun searching for one that works for you. And then basically all you're doing is translating playing card deck to tarot and vice versa. And again, you can look those up online. I'm going to give you some basics just so that you have an idea of what you're looking for, but everything is on the Google, so you can search just about anything. And so you're looking up tarot card meanings. If you just have a regular deck of playing cards, you can still search tarot card meanings, and I will help you translate them right now. So what you're looking for is to first of all translate the suits. So we have, of course, in a regular deck of playing cards, we have the suits of, we have hearts, spades, clubs, and diamonds, and those translate. So the heart card in a regular deck of playing cards translates to cups. And you can see up at the top here on both cards, they have the ace. And so you're going to go through and you have everything from the ace up to the 10. That will be the same in both decks. There will also be a jack. And sometimes in the tarot cards, they're worded differently. So a jack would translate then to pages. Queen, of course, is the same, and king, of course, is the same. Pages might also be listed as princesses, or you're looking for a younger generation than the kings and queens. The only one that will be missing is knights. Interesting backstory there. I believe they were removed from the regular deck of playing cards, something to do with Friday the 13th and the Knights Templar. I don't know. I encourage you to do some research about that if you're into that kind of thing. Find out a little bit more. I'm not a historian. Please don't, call me and say that I'm wrong about that. I believe that's the backstory, but do your own research. So anyways, most of the cards will be there, and this is called the Minor Arcana section of the tarot cards. In a regular deck of playing cards, that's basically all you're getting is the aces through kings. In the tarot deck, you're getting aces through kings minus the knights in the minor arcana, and then there's also another section called the major arcana, which of course you don't get in a regular deck of playing cards. So basically you're looking up for the translation, minor arcana, tarot cards, meanings, if you're doing a little search. So we have, as I mentioned, the hearts translate to cups, and then we have On my screen, those are showing up backwards. The words are showing up backwards. I'm not sure what it will look like when the video is done. I apologize. Spades are swords. Okay, we have the aces there. And then we have clubs equals wands. And then we have diamonds equals pentacles. And so even if you've only got just a regular deck of playing cards, you can always look up online, Ace of Pentacles, what does that mean? And so if an Ace of Diamonds comes up in your spread, then you know what that means. Very simple. In addition to that, you can also add some cards. And actually, even in the tarot deck, I add one card. In a lot of tarot decks, we have some additional cards that will be in the deck, just the same as you do, you know, in a regular deck of playing cards. You've got the jokers. In this deck, there are some other ones. It looks like bridge scoring. And because this one came from Japan, I'm not even sure which direction this goes. It goes this way, I think. There's something written in Japanese. So there's often extra cards. In tarot, even though there's generally 78 cards in the deck, I always throw in an extra card. So these are the two extras that came with it. I use this one as my blank card. Once upon a time, in the earlier days when cards were first beginning to be mass merchandised, of course, you know, they would cut from a big sheet of paper and there would be a blank card. And so, or two. And so over time, of course, that did not go to waste and the mass merchandisers would print, you know, something about themselves, their printing company or something, or the title of the deck, as this one is, the Rider-Waite Tarot. So they would not go to waste. But anyway, so I use one of those extra ones as my blank card, and the blank card can represent the idea of and even more. It would be considered one of the major arcana cards, and so and it would fall after the world card. What have I got here? The world, or sometimes it's called the universe, which is what I have here. So this one is the last one in the deck, the last one in the major arcana, the world card. So there's a little bit of shine there. And then after that, I use my blank. So we have 21 here is the world card. And then I have my blank, which would be considered 22. And that one would be represent and even more. So the world card is when things have come to a conclusion, success, and so on. And then this one would mean and even more. So you use that in situations where if it comes up, generally the idea is that your team up there, whatever you believe in, God, Goddess, your loved ones looking over you, to each their own, whatever you believe in, they want even more for you than you can imagine. So you can take whatever your best ideal is and take it up a notch and imagine what that would look like. And that's kind of what we use to break free of our confines, our beliefs around, you know, where we belong in the world and what we can achieve. If we want even greater for ourselves, or if our teams up there suggest to us that we can have even more than what we think, then I use that. And then the other one is you can always translate as well. Oh, sorry, I should have said. So you can use with either of those one of the blanks in a regular deck of playing cards. So you can have that for love readings as well. So if you can imagine having a relationship and, oh, you know, this is what we think we can achieve with our relationship, and then one of the blank cards comes up, oh, what if we can have even better? Or what if I could have a partner if I don't have a partner yet? Maybe somebody even better than what I thought I could have. And then likewise with the Fool card, is equivalent to the Joker. So this is also major arcana. It's the beginning of the journey. So the World card is the end of the journey. That's success, everything coming to a culmination. You've done a good job and so on. And so you can replace that with, or substitute that with another card if you don't have that. And the beginning of the journey is the Fool, which you could use for the Joker. Okay, what else do I want to cover here? So we've done that. So basically, yeah, you're just translating the two. So there's the ace through kings, and then if you want the additional cards, there's a couple of blanks, one for the, what I would say the and even greater, and one for the fool. And then the fool, of course, if you're doing love readings, that's usually somebody who is either blinded or they're overly hopeful or they're not yet in a relationship. They're new to it. So as I said, I'm not going to go through the entire workshop. I'm just going to give you the basics. If you have just a regular deck of playing cards at home, look up a heart spread or other types of spreads. You can use the phrase relationship spread, love readings, whatever it is that you want to try. Look up a spread, find one that works for you, and then, as I said, shuffle, 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 lay down the cards in the order that they are indicated in the diagram, and then you can just look up online, translate to tarot card readings. Very simple. Now, the other type that I do is, as I said, what I offer in readings for my clients. I quite often I get both. I get couples who come, either they're coming together or one of them is coming trying to figure out what to do in their relationship, or the other possibility is often somebody is wanting to be in a relationship, and so they're wanting to know, how can they meet the person that they are meant to meet, or how can they get themselves ready and so on. I do want to point out, I don't do fortune telling, so I don't say, Mr. Tall, Dark, and Handsome is going to knock on your door at 4 o'clock next Tuesday, or I don't do yes or no answers. I do life path readings and such, so I help you to get prepared, help you to understand where you're coming from, help you to get the most out of your relationships. And so basically what I'm doing is a chakra reading, and then I'm multiplying by however many people are in the relationship, usually two. Sometimes there may be kids involved or something. If it's a family situation, you may want to lay down more. So what you're doing then is laying down one spread and then another identical spread next to it. So say, for example, if you're doing the heart spread, you may want to focus just on yourself with the first one, and then your partner or somebody that you're looking for could be in an identical spread next to you. Now, if you're doing that, I do recommend using two separate decks. Otherwise, you're not going to get the same cards. The idea is to compare them. So where are you both on the same page? And then that helps you to gauge, where are we doing really well? Where do we flow together? And then also where, and some people will take this as a negative, where do you not match up? Possibly, you could look at it that way. I take things on the positive. So I look at it as, where are you each bringing something unique to the table? So maybe one of you is really good at showing your emotions, but not so good at cleaning the house. Maybe the other one is really good at cleaning the house, but they need a little extra help communicating their words, so to speak. So you can kind of see how you can each help out. Maybe one's really good at finances, the other can handle cleaning the house, and so on. So each brings something to the table, and then you each have your roles, and it helps you kind of figure that out. Likewise, if you are searching for a partner, you can do one for yourself, and then the other spread next to it would be what your team up there feels would be best for you. And quite often you're looking for ideals in that situation. So you can do that with a heart spread. For myself, I use a chakra spread. So if you can imagine, if you're familiar with the chakra systems, most people think of the 7 main chakras. I don't have the table space to lay out 7. You basically lay one on top of each other like a long line, 7 main cards. I don't necessarily have that kind of table space, so I stagger mine, and I'm actually going to include a print off down below. Give me a sec. I'm going to talk about this spread first, and then I'll tell you how to get the print off. But you'll see in mine, I actually stagger mine. So I'll start base chakra, sacral chakra, solar plexus chakra, heart chakra, and it's like a big zigzag, and that just kind of helps to shorten the spread a little bit. So yes, I did want to mention I am going to do a print off. So I will be sharing this video on my website, both in the blog post and in the tab for the video archives, and then I'll be doing it on YouTube for my business page, and that's Lightworker Psychic Readings and Energy Healing, and then also my business Facebook page and my personal Facebook page for Heather Home. So it's going to be in a number of places, and of course each platform has a different place for you to leave something like a link, but basically what I'm going to do is just leave a link. Look either in the description below this video or down in the comments. It will be somewhere in the vicinity of this video, and it will take you to, I believe, Google Drive, and then you should be able to download it from there. So it's just going to show you really the diagram for a chakra spread laid out side by side so that it's relationships. You'll also see up the center crystals, places for crystals, which I will describe in a moment. And then below that, there's description for each position meaning, and then which crystals correlate. So for myself, if you can imagine the chakra spread all laid out, and I should mention, I actually lay down an 8th card for mine, which is the chakra up above. And you can always make this your own too. If you're a Reiki practitioner and you tune into other chakras beyond the main 7, go ahead and add some additional positions. I just find that this is the simplest. So I start with the 7 main chakras, and then I add an 8th, which I call the Sky Star chakra. And that's where our teams up there, how they help protect us while we are here on Earth. So if I was doing a reading just for one person, just a chakra reading, I would go through each of those positions. And of course, each of those chakra centers have to have a job in our lives. So the heart chakra is all about the emotions. The third eye is about how we perceive, and so on. So each of those positions will have a meaning. You lay a card down on that position. It gives you information about what's going on with your energy systems as you're doing that kind of thing in your life. So your emotions, you know, you lay down a card. Maybe it's the 3 of Swords, things maybe not going so well in the heart area. But then you can also, if you're an energy reader, you can scan with permission from the client, scan the energy systems and see what else is going on there. And then to do a relationship reading, just as I said earlier with the heart chakra or with the heart spread, you can lay out more than one. So if it's a partnership, you lay 2 chakra spreads side by side, and then compare the 2. Just as I said before, where are you both on the same page? And then where do you both bring something unique to the relationship? Now for myself, I find it easiest if I lay down some crystals in the middle, which was what I was getting at a moment ago. So I keep my nice little bag. I have my little cross-stitch bag that I made decades ago. It's a handy dandy just a little bag I keep my stones in. And they're the 7 colors of the 7 main chakras plus a clear for the top. So I've got my red aventurine, I've got my carnelian for orange, and so on, my green for my heart chakra, and I go all the way up. And the reason why I do that is because when we are doing readings, and it's not the same for everybody, but for a lot of us, when we're trying to figure things out, that's a very different part of the brain than when we are getting things intuitively. And certainly if we are doing a scan. So there's all different parts of the brain that are doing things at the same time. And I don't want to have to sit there and count out, well, which card is this? Where does it correlate? For every single time I'm reading a card through the spread. And you can kind of get lost very easily. So if I have the colors just laid right out there, I very quickly know, oh, I see green, this is the heart chakra, this is what we're talking about. And so if I'm laying out 2 side by side, I just make sure that they're all lined up. So the heart chakra for both sides will be right next to the green stone in the middle. And so on for all of the colors. And then I just compare them back and forth. You can also read for yourself. I don't really need to do this anymore, but for a lot of people, if they, they're in a relationship or they're looking for a relationship and they're trying to read for themselves, no, it can be very different to read for yourself than for somebody else. It's not always a challenge for everybody, but for some of us it is. For myself back in the day when I really wanted answers around relationships, regardless of whether it was, like I say, romantic or a family situation or among my friends, colleagues, and so on. The way that I kind of got around that was I just had a kind of a deal or an agreement with my team up there, that if I'm laying down cards for myself, I am going to trust that whatever comes up in a specific book, and I dedicated this one book, and the author of this book is not a sponsor by any means. It's just the one that I happen to have, Tarot for Love and Relationships. Who was the author of that? Eleanor Jacoby. And I just kind of had a deal that I would trust if a card came up in a certain position and I turned to that card in this book, then whatever it said in this specific book, I would take as gospel. I would trust that that was the answer for me. Because when we read for ourselves, it's very easy for us to replace what is going on with what we want to be going on. And that's not always the case. So that was my way of doing it, but others may have another way of, helping themselves to read for themselves. What else did I have here? Oh, yes. And then so developing your references as well. So when you are reading, you kind of want to come up with a sort of portfolio, I guess you might call it, or repertoire that you have with your team up there. So if you're developing your intuitive abilities, you want to strengthen your connection to your team up there. I do recommend going for the greatest and highest good and connecting with a team up there, either going straight to the divine creator, if that's your thing, to God, goddess, whatever you believe in, or just for the highest good, or flowing with goodness, or whatever is your thing. I recommend kind of aiming for the highest good. And then through that process, as you're learning to develop your card readings, whether it's with a regular deck of playing cards or your tarot or your oracle or any other form of divination, I recommend over time paying attention to the types of sensations, images, tastes, and so on that come up in response, and then kind of setting that up with your team. Okay, I'm doing this reading for myself. Let's just say you're starting off doing a love reading for yourself. Every time, say, the Four of Wands comes up, it always seems to be in this particular situation. Hey, team up there, or hey, God or goddess, or whoever you're connecting with up there. Please, let's establish that from now on, every time this card comes up, that's what I'm going to associate it with. Or maybe every time you see a particular card, you think of a particular movie that you know of, or it reminds you of a situation in your life, or there's an excerpt from a book that you remember. You kind of want to get something established where you are creating associations with your cards, so that every time they come up, you at least have a starting point. They won't always mean exactly the same thing, but they will give you something to start with, like a diving board to get into the water with. It's kind of like playing Pictionary or charades too. They don't give you, a fax or an email or anything like that to just read off verbatim. You kind of have to guess at what your team means up there. So I do recommend trying something like that. Another book that is really good, if you're looking to do relationship readings and you're trying to learn about relationships, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus by John Gray. I get that a lot. My team often gives me recommendations for my clients from books, or things from books, specifically about relationships, but sometimes it's about, finances or careers or things like that. And then I can pass that information on to the clients so they can look it up if they choose to. Another one, good one about relationships is No Matter What by Lisa Nichols. Her book isn't really so much about relationships, but more about finding yourself within relationships, or finding yourself in the world. and how you can be your best self so that you're prepared to be in a relationship or prepared to meet the world in your best way. So I hope that wasn't too convoluting or convoluted. If you have any questions, you're always welcome to either email. I do have like a contact page on my website. I don't do, at least at this point, I'm not doing comments on the Facebook page, or sorry, comments on the, yeah, actually I don't do on Facebook either for my business page, but on the YouTube, because there's so many mean people out there and I don't really like that. But you're welcome to get in touch with me through my website or email me. I'm happy to answer questions at any time. So I guess that's it. I wish everybody very much love and gentleness. And of course, Valentine's is not just for Valentine's month. You can, you know, think in terms of flowers and Parisian cafe music anytime you want. I hope you enjoy having some fun learning about doing love readings. And if you're looking for somebody to offer you a love reading, please do your research first, or any type of reading at all. You want to make sure that you're getting the type of reading and the type of reader that are appropriate for you. There are so many of us out there, and you want to make sure that you're connecting with the right person for you. You deserve a good reading, so connect with the person who makes sense for you. I guess that's it. I think I've gone through all of my notes. I hope I managed to convey what I was trying to get across. I hope it wasn't too garbled. And that's it. I wish everybody a happy March ahead. Spring is not far off. Take care and best wishes.